Whoa. Welcome to the Derp with Kurp. I got a great guest today, which one is Johnny Popola from That Saves America podcast. And I sold the show over to his people. They're working on it right now. So he's a good guy to have on. And
right.
This is a get I got from Mark. Johnny Cirucci, who wrote a book I'm dying to read called Pedocracy, Eaters of Children. Is that the name of the book that I want?
Eaters of Children, the Pedocracy Exposed.
Yeah, and when that come out?
My goodness. I think it was that one I got out on September 11th, 2017. September 11th, 2017. Yeah, baby, stick it to the machine.
Okay. So, and I heard your book. So Mark brought you up, and I'd heard of you from Nathan Reynolds, who had a bunch of books to read on his site, from the National Faith site. So yeah. I ordered it, and my order didn't come when I get it. So I'm glad that you came on because I want to find out your backstory.
I will send you. And that's a lot, and it is absolutely well worth it. I will buy my books, have it come to me, sign it, and send it to you because this is Kurp Massacre, my bucket list. My bucket list. What the Tripoli?
Yeah.
What is Tripoli? Get that out of here,
yeah.
Sam. You love you, Sam.
Get the hell out of here.
So I told Tripoli, I go. Man, big hug, no homo though. He's like, no, big homo. Okay, cringe.
Yeah, he says that to me as well. Sam Tripoli always says big homo.
That's good. See that link up with Kurpy? Hang on, check up. Mark, we are good to go. Definitely on my list, and this is why you're on my list. This is why you're on my bucket list, Jack, is because my fans were in touch with me, like, hey, Cap, it's not Jews. He's out there saying the J word. And I was like, what? And there's this GIF of Will Smith without AI when he's
what is the J word?
That's, huh?
Wait, what is the J word?
Jesuit.
Oh.
Jesuit.
Yeah, I have said that quite a bit.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And as soon as my fans were like, hey, Cap, Kurpy's saying the J word, I was like dialed in and following, and I've
all from Nathan's book. That's all Nathan's book and what he was talking about. And then, it's such a fascinating history of these stupid secret societies because one springs up. It's just like intel crap is what it looks like to me. And the church I guess going back to the Templars, the church accepted those weirdo whatever they were up to, and it's always
they built them. They built them with the two faces, the two faces of Janus, one for the initiated and the other face for the uninitiated.
Right.
The Roman Catholic Church built the Templars, and the Templars grew to incredible strength and power, and more money and more income than most nations, and that's why Philippe le Bel, Philip the Fair of the Fourth of France, had them wiped out. And they went underground. The survivors went underground. And this was also the only two sovereigns in human history that I know of that subjugated the Catholic Church. Philippe le Bel, Philip the Fair, and he was assassinated for his efforts. And Napoleon Bonaparte, who was really on the side of the Jesuits. He had Jesuits whispering in his ear. He had Abbé, priest, Catholic French for priest. Emmanuel Sias was his consigliere, whispering in his ear. Mm-hmm. He was an Italian Roman Catholic growing up on the island of Corsica. And when the Jesuits suppressed themselves, that's my take on it. It's not just my take. That's Frederick Tupper Saucy III. Have you heard of Rulers of Evil, Frederick Tupper Saucy III?
No, I never heard none of them.
Oh, my goodness. Must have, Kurt. Must have. Is Frederick Saucy, Rulers of Evil. The Jesuits were suppressed around 1773 to 1814, and Saucy says, and I agree, they suppressed themselves based on what they learned, the Templars. They went underground and came back stronger. Came back stronger. And when the Jesuits were suppressing themselves, all the Jesuits in France, thousands of Jesuits in France, where'd they go? They went to the island of Corsica, where little Babino was there growing up.
Oh, he's Corsican.
Boy named Napoleon Bonaparte. And so this is how many. There were so many Jesuits on the island of Corsica. There were 1 in 13 of the population. Every 13th Corsican was a Jesuit, a collared Jesuit. And I'm absolutely convinced they raised him. They controlled him. It was ridiculous that he would take his army and suicide it across the steppes of Russia. He was ordered to do that, and they kept him around. So
Well, that's
Whole nother
interesting.
show.
There's a grudge against him to this day. That is like when I saw that Napoleon movie. Did you see that, John? It's gonna be. I'll say John and Johnny. John, did you see Napoleon, the Ridley Scott one?
I haven't seen it yet because I heard it was boring.
It's
So
boring
it's like,
crap, dude. I still don't know nothing about Napoleon from seeing it, and you can tell it's because somebody wants me to not know anything about like who. I've never had an idea of who the guy is besides he's short, which I guess he wasn't, and he's a
the
symbol or
secret of the
something.
hidden hand. The hidden hand. Everybody, they love the hidden hand. Look at how many Civil War generals do that. Stick their hand up their vest, up their ass, the hidden hand. How many? Now, why is that? That's the secret society. That's Freemasonry. The hidden hand. Why are there so many involved? Yalta, where one Jesuit and two Luciferians were carving up the free world, and all three of them were Freemasons. Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin. All three of them were Freemasons at Yalta, carving up the free world, getting ready for the phony Cold War. And it wasn't phony in that people didn't die. It was phony and it was completely fabricated, completely manufactured.
It's a big game of chess. Look, at a certain point, as you move up the thing, that's in the Tragedy and Hope book is where I would tell anybody to start.
Wait, what is that? Tragedy. What is that?
Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley.
Carrie Quigley. What was he?
Bill Clinton's mentor at Georgetown, and he wrote
Georgetown.
Wait.
Georgetown.
He got access to the archives. He's been to the archives, as Douglas Murray says, and he was given cosmic level clearance. That's the I guess top, nothing to do with space shit, or maybe I don't know.
Alien asses.
He got to look in the Council on Foreign Relations and the the State Department stuff that's above. The president's not the top, and that's not a secret. There's 8 levels above him, which should tell you that your vote doesn't count.
What kind of school is Georgetown, Kurpy?
It's a lot of Rhodes Scholars go there. It's Ivy League, is it not?
Who runs it? Jesuits. The Jesuits. Georgetown is Jesuit. Look at the list of alumni. Don't just look at Georgetown. Wait.
Hold on. I'm gonna get off track. Oh my God, you're just like me, dude. I'm gonna get way off track. Wait.
We are.
That book is all about the New World Order. There's nothing occultic or magical in it. It's literally just the driest record.
It's about tyrannical feudalism.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've only had the 4-class system anywhere. Basically, the feudal. I don't even know who's at the top. They must be very tall and thin and white, I'd imagine. But it's just like chess. Like all these things are real. Like the death is real, but you're a pawn, and you could see that right down the line. You don't have to even look into anything secret. Look at the world around you today. Hey, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. That's everybody's adventures. That's the first thing they say. There's never an omelet coming. I don't know why people think there is. But the callousness of we covered this story yesterday. JD Vance got in a spat with Ron Paul.
What religion is Vance?
An adult convert to Catholicism. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, we'll get into
Full on Crusader. It's the Jews, Johnny. Full on
Peter
Crusader.
Thiel, I'm pretty sure Peter Thiel is I don't know if it's a genuine. I bet there's always 2 or 3 of the groups.
Who is his mentor?
Peter Thiel's a Templar, is what I got told casually by somebody.
Basically, yeah.
Not like, hey, don't tell nobody. No, he's Christian. He's like he's into esoteric stuff. I'm like, wait, is he a Templar? Because
right. Interesting how many homosexuals are easily brought into the Catholic community.
Templars, Tracy Twyman's research has been blowing my mind. And if you don't know who that is, if you look into her story, it's nuts because I don't think anybody else I've ever heard doing this. She was apparently did all this playing around with the Ouija board. She talked to someone that told her to build a better Ouija board, which she did. And she just was, this is as a non-religious skeptic person who's like, let's just see, because she said she found that, somebody who's Christian is like, I'm not touching that. And then people that are like atheists that don't believe in nothing, they're like, I'm not touching that. Why would I even mess around with that? So it's very hard to find someone that would sit there and then she did. And so because she's so not invested in any lore of anybody's, it's her unadulterated, just like, well, this is the experience I had. And then she wrote a book called Clock Shavings. It's very hard to get, which is about her experiences with that. The part where she's speaking to apparently Cain on a Ouija board. I mean, keep in mind, there's like the dark web. You don't know what in the hell you're talking to. It told her to make one that was like a better design. And it sounded like an AI writing a better program for you or something. the parallels to what she was doing are crazy. And,
Is that Kane the wrestler?
Okay, Johnny, as the normal cradle Catholic Italian here, you gotta catch me up.
Is everybody a Gavone in here? Let me see, because I'm actually
Gavone. You're Gavone.
Yeah.
I'm well, Vender. It's Americanized, but Ventresca on my mother's side. Metzger's my dad's side. But
so
everybody, my mom's ex-Catholic turned Jehovah's Witness.
What's the situation here?
So
catch me up.
Forgive me, John, and I don't want to step on your toes, brother. Much love to you. So here's my take. It's absolutely intuitive. Okay, so what I do as a guy that did 20 years in the military and was born and raised a Roman Catholic, Italiano Roman Catholic, it's a way of life for us, right? See?
It is. We're Christian Jews, basically.
Yeah, right. So I just had an awakening in college. I went to a non-denominational church and I became a born-again Christian, and it just totally changed my worldview. And over the years, I've been digging. And so listen, my former church, your current church, it's got a dark history. Okay, it's got a dark history. From the fundamentalist, evangelical, so-called Protestant perspective, Jesus Christ nailed organized religion to the cross, and within 500 years, it was back again on the auspices of John, the Bishop of Rome, with the power of Emperor Justinian in 538, saying, "You are now the Bishop of Bishops, the corrector of heretics." And from there, Rome grew into, with the power of military Rome, grew into the centralization of Christianity, even though it wasn't, because when it was Theodosius, not Constantine, it was Constantine that let off the brakes of mass murdering Christians. But it was Theodosius the First that made Christianity the state religion of the Roman Empire. Well, but they're not Christians. They're a bunch of crazy pagans that do all kinds of, fucking each other in the woods.
Plus, they got Mithras. The military's all the Freemasons of the time, the Mithraists, that people claim Christ is taken from, but I don't think it is.
So we so-called evangelical Protestants believe that this was all coalesced into a syncretistic mix of animism and paganism and Judaism with the trappings of Christianity. If you look into the mother with child, the Queen of Heaven, that's in the book of Jeremiah. Queen of Heaven has very little to do with Christianity. The elevating of Mary, the mother of God, the co-redemptrix, the co-mediatrix. This is where evangelical Protestant Christianity departs from Catholicism. And so
I thought it departs when Martin Luther hammers 95 theses onto a wall, and the church says, yeah, we'll do all those things. He says, I still want to start my own religion, and that's the departure.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't. It was that there were many people throughout history that wanted to stay in tune with the Bible. The Bible was forbidden by the Catholic Church on pain of the fires of the Inquisition, having your intestines pulled out, your arms ripped back, being lit on fire.
Is this the Tyndale, where William Tyndale gets burned? What year is that? Is that what you're talking about at that time?
Yeah, no, that is post the Reformation, where Tyndale was hunted down in Belgium, across in Europe, by Henry VIII and Thomas More. Yes, his
Sir Thomas More, the guy from A Man for All Seasons, hunted down.
Yeah. The Great Thomas More Law Society. If you're a Christian, you want to win battles in court. Good luck to you. Go to the Thomas More Law Society. So,
really?
Yeah, right. Well, but before William Tyndale, so here's the big revolution. There's two reasons why we all talk about Martin Luther. He didn't start his own religion. So from the Protestant perspective, we just came home. We're more pure. That's just our perspective. That this was going on long before Martin Luther. There's two reasons why Martin Luther is supposedly the start point. He's not. There are many people, the Valdenses, the Albigenses. Where did the Crusades come from? Who were the victims of the Crusades? The Christians. Christians were the victims, certainly of the Third Crusade, where knights of the Catholic Church went into the Alps and hunted down and mass murdered Valdenses and Albigenses and threw their women and children off the Alps and dashed them against the rocks and whatnot because
Hey, like
they
the
were
Knights of
attempting-
Columbus vow?
Yeah, I don't have that at hand, but yeah,
That's
I
the
wouldn't
vow of
doubt
the Knights of Columbus, to find the prize and dash their child's head upon the
Sure,
rock.
no,
That must be it.
that's in the Jesuit vow. That's in the fourth vow of extreme unction. Might be in the Knights of Columbus vow as well, but that's absolutely in the Jesuit vow, the fourth vow, the blood oath, the fourth vow of extreme unction, to dash the women, children, use the poniard and the poison cup and whatever gets it done, and to become them also, to go undercover. Have you heard of a guy named Stephen Anderson, a Baptist preacher? I promise you, in no
Yes.
way is this guy. You may have seen him on Alex Jones. He's a nobody. He's got a congregation of like 4
How
people.
about Jonathan
in Arizona.
Kahn?
Yeah, sure. But Anderson
Yeah.
is an absolute clown, He goes out there and says the most outrageous. The guy talks with a lisp. I was like, oh, okay, you're a flamer, aren't you? And he's
Steve
the guy
what?
that pounds. Huh?
What's his name? Steve what?
Stephen Anderson.
Okay.
You can find him. I've repeatedly been on Alex Jones' show. So who's this nobody? So if you think that maybe Alex has kind of has connections to the CIA, then why are these people like Nikki Fuentes and Stephen Anderson showing up on the show repeatedly when they're nobodies? And he's giving them all the clout of his show. And he's pounding on his pulpit, no homos will ever be in my church, ever. And the three inbreds
Wait,
that are
Stephen
yeah.
Anderson saying that, or Alex Jones?
That's Stephen Anderson saying that. Alex would
Oh.
never say that. Stephen
he's-
Anderson
he's-
saying that.
yeah.
So I firmly believe that Anderson is an incognito Jesuit, which is in their oath, is to become the enemy and to impersonate them.
It's the intel. It's like imagine way better than the CIA. You got like
Counterintelligence. Okay, kind of
Yeah.
like what General Flynn did at the Defense Intelligence Agency. He's our man, General Flynn, Michael Thomas.
I
Flynn.
got a lot of word on him that he's no good. That guy, and Liz Croker as well, and MK Monarch talk. A lot of Monarch talk around him. Somebody told me he went. They call it going conscious when that breaks, that program, and he stayed in the thing. Because at the end of the day, this is the reason I brought up Tracy Twyman before, but I could yap about this all day. What are you talking about? She really researched the Templars. What's the guy's name? Joseph Hammer Bergstrom or something. He wrote the definitive thing. He's an Orientalist of his time that wrote about the assassins, because that's where the Templars hooked up when they met the old man of the mountain and all the. It's what's the type?
Passing
Sufi.
of power. The passing of power. They had a
Sufi
repertoire.
Islam is the Freemason kind of Islam that's in Turkey and what have you.
Right.
And so she found the Catholic Church. Now they forgave the Templars. Okay, they didn't admit wrongdoing, but they also couldn't condemn them because they instituted the Templars. So
Right.
they released this book that she got. It was like a leather-bound book. They were like $11,000 a piece of their detailed confessions of the Templars. And so everything you always hear about him is like didn't want to pay him back, so the king, they tortured him until they said they worshipped John the Baptist's head. Whatever story. No, with no torture, the confessions with no torture are the ones of note, because how it started is they're taking a vow of chastity, right? So, but then they're like, look, you could get a hooker if you got it, but just don't let nobody see it. That's how their group started out. Then it changed to no more of this disgusting having sex with women. You do it with your brothers.
Right.
A little consolamentum, as they like to say.
Right.
And also, if a brother tells you he needs to do whatever, you got to do it.
Right.
It's like a frat getting real out of hand with no
I'm
outside.
sorry. Are you talking about special forces?
Well, I could be.
Oh.
I could
Yeah,
be
you
talking
are.
about Cherry
Yeah,
Marines.
you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah,
That's
so
right.
so,
it gets out the tail hook. Tail hook shit.
yeah. Right.
Yep.
Right.
So she describes it so well because. So anyway, this guy had all these drawings of theirs because they went underground. Literally, they'll go underground, and so basically with that skull thing, and they maybe I've heard different things that they didn't have the head of John the Baptist. They had one of these virgins from a virgin massacre in a reliquary, but Tracy Wyman says no. In Turkey, they might have John the Baptist skull, and they somehow through whatever their practice turn this into a communication. Like a Ouija board, basically.
Skull and bones,
Skull
stealing
and
the head of
bones, yeah.
Geronimo,
Yeah.
kissing the slippered toe of the Pope. All of that. Johannism is a thing, Kurt and John.
No,
and
wait, no,
Mark.
wait. So basically, it becomes like all cults become sex cults for some reason. Like Nexium, or any things you ever hear about. What happens? Everybody, or Buddha Field on Netflix. A lot of people saw, right, where the guy is an ex-ballerino, and his whole thing is getting straight guys to do things they wouldn't normally want to do.
I've got a Nexium story for you if you're interested.
Oh yeah, very interested.
Well,
very interested.
so at there was this whole collection of Mexican families from Monterrey, right, that were connected in, and one of them. So I got invited to be in this thing. This is like, I'm thinking it's like 2013.
Executive, you showed real executive promise now.
I know. I was like, no. Hey, they're like, you like free markets, Ayn Rand. We're into this. This is good, Ayn Rand. We're all in. And at first I thought, well, oh, okay, I don't know what this is. It sounds like some sort of Tony Robbins deal. And then you scratch the surface, like, nah, I don't know about this. I'm not into this. We're here in Austin. It was a family here in Austin that was going to my kid's school. Next thing I know, they're moving to upstate New York. And this family was that in that inner core of the group that was doing the branding. And I am fairly certain that her father, who was a very large newspaper owner in Mexico, made it so that she didn't appear in the HBO documentary. Because there's no way that documentary would have missed this person.
All these documentaries,
if not for it being entirely cut out. Because you know how they got him? They got Keith Raniere or whatever his name was.
He's in Mexico.
In Mexico, in Monterrey.
Mm-hmm.
So we're watching, Lisa and I are watching this documentary. And I'm like, oh my God, we were like, I think the inner sanctum tried to pull us into this thing.
Yeah,
compromise you, sexually compromised. That is the name of the game. You ever heard of the Franklin cover-up? You know what that's all about? Okay. Oh, it's Epstein. He was the only one. He was trafficking teenage girls. No one's ever trafficked any children before this, right? Okay. So right away, we're throwing the bullshit flag. Oh, Epstein, it was just the Jews and maybe the Mossad, and that's it. Meanwhile, this has been blackmail on sexual deviancy has been the name of the game since the Roman Empire, where the emperors would do this all the time.
Right. Wait. What you're just saying. So this is what Tracy Twyman figured out from just reading these books that no one apparently had read. Most people hadn't read any of the book. So the interviews of Templars, it turned into a weird inner gay frat where they go underground and they were doing weird rituals, and the statues it's not stuff you've ever seen before involving the Templars. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to just compulsory homosexual occult acts, whether you like that or not. It's like the Diddy thing. It's like everything you keep hearing about. There's like a thing where somebody goes, hey, you want to, I know somebody, a friend of mine is a writer. He didn't tell me the director, but it's a black director you probably have heard of, but I don't know who. But he wanted $50 million to make a movie. And he was telling my friend Owen this. He goes, yeah, this producer was like, I'll give you the whole $50 million, but you got to put on a cat suit and cat ears. Okay, this is what you want to do, and you got to crawl on your hands and knees with your head shot in your mouth, and then suck his dick. This is like his agent, I guess, is telling him he's got to do. Okay, and suck his dick, and he'll give you the money. So he was going to not do it, right? And he goes, that. By the way, this wasn't even the weird, but this is how insane just entertainment is in general. Like that's not even the weird part. Okay, the weird part, he said, is because he's a black director that I don't know where he's from, but he had friends from back home. He has like an entourage of dudes. So a bunch of his homies are like, hey, that's $50 million. That's the thing where he goes, oh, his big wake up was not even because he already knew it was like that in Hollywood. Right. But the big wake up was your friends going, hey, $50 million, I'd do that. Maybe you do it for all of us, and
compromised, Kurt. Compromised.
That's
how many people?
The mother of heaven or whatever would do it.
Not Hollywood, not the military, not cops. Compromised. You want to race? You want to go higher into the pyramid, the Illuminati pyramid? You will get down on your hands and knees, put on the cat suit, and open wide. That is compromise. And here's why I tell people, please, vote him out, Donald Trump. He's going to save the day. Please, you understand? Please,
already doing a great job.
Anyone in the spotlight has done this. If you're seeing them in the spotlight, they've done this. Okay, just look up Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, inappropriate
at that level. I don't know how you would ever get to that level of power unless you knew
Control.
Roy Cohn back in the day, or you're like Bill Clinton and you had Carol Quigley from Joy.
Control. Good.
Yeah.
Richard McSorley, the Jesuit, the collar Jesuit, Richard McSorley, who was the Kennedy family Jesuit that gave Bill Clinton a hand-in-hand tour of Eastern Europe into Soviet Russia, into Moscow in the middle of the Cold War. How do you get that? You get it from the Jesuits. Don't even look. I was talking about earlier of the
Jesuits at the center of the whole thing, Johnny. They're the hub around which the wheel spins. Is this the thesis?
No, royal families at the top, I believe.
Don't worry about
them.
the thesis. Let me prove it to you, John. let me prove it to you with names, places, and dates. Okay, so we get into training. What is
I can't
more
help
important?
but be the skeptic on this stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, who would be?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Okay.
What's
Good.
training?
No.
Wait,
Be
hold on.
a
What's
skeptic.
training?
Names, places, and dates. Okay, so what is important?
Wait. Don't do that. That wouldn't convince me. Names, places, and dates. I'm trying to understand what the thing is. What is it you're skeptical of with the Jesuits exactly? That they are up to something, or
No, I think I think that I tend to look at these things and say this is all a reflection of sort of the broken nature of man, and that there's always going to be this pattern repeats itself because of course power corrupts. You get you get into this class structure where you're all together and you spiral out of control. It's like you're saying you're in a group. The group shifts.
I used to think that it was like that. It's just like a herd, but
it's the
a
dot
herd
connecting
implies
where
a
I tend to get
shepherd.
a little
It
lost.
does. A herd implies a shepherd, and no, people don't make the same mistake this many times unless someone is driving that. Right now, they call it clown world, which I didn't know that was a nickname for CIA agents, calling them clowns. Did you know that? I just found that out.
No.
Tracy Twyman found out. So that's why you're in clown world. And in fact, who's the guy called? The guy said, when you don't believe anything, everything you believe is wrong. We did our job. The Colby from the say.
Yeah.
Colby, what religion was he?
They're all
Catholic.
the same. They're
Colby
Luciferian.
Catholic. Casey Catholic. The guy that founded the CIA. Bill Donovan, Catholic, Knight of Malta.
You got to look at in corporate kind of terms because that's like part of it.
Well,
Luciferian.
you got a 2,000-year-old institution, Johnny. You're going to have a lot of players involved.
Yeah, but players to the point where you've got 9 Supreme Court justices and 6 of them are Catholic and 3 of them are token far-left Jews. Is that commensurate with the rest of the population, or is that some kind of outside skullduggery, John?
It's interesting that all the conservative Supreme Court justices are
conservative,
Catholic.
right? They all toe the line. I'm sorry.
You will disregard that. No.
Out of order. Out of order.
Just one thing I find amazing is, imagine you've been taking the innermost secrets of the most powerful people in the world for like 1,000 years. Imagine the intel you would have, such as if you're the church.
Hold on.
Guess what the age of consent is in the Vatican? Ready?
Is it possible,
They
John,
don't got that. They don't got that stuff.
Is this accruing? Is power and wealth accruing over millennia, or is this just the sad state? Not only, so the good old leftist Catholic Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight, the 2015 movie about how the Catholic Church covered up the rape in Boston, and with the help of the judges and the cops. And what's his name? Stanley Tucci.
Wait, you know Barry Crimmins? Barry Chance, Gio?
I don't.
Oh, he was my friend from Boston. He was a comic that was like he was like the Equalizer. He's dead now, but there's a good documentary on Netflix. He got I don't even know if you're allowed to say the name of the crime on here, but he got essayed as a 4-year-old by his babysitter's mom's boyfriend, and it's a real school. And he anyway, he's like Boston comedy scene. He was like the founder of it, and he came out like when he was like 38 or 40 and talked about it. And then he finally got, because most men don't get any help for something like that until they're middle aged.
Wow.
And but I went to tour with him when I was getting they didn't call it canceled back then, but I was getting shit hammered and there were people trying to keep me from working. And he was a leftist who was like wanted to be seen with me to say fuck off to anybody that said anything. Which I thought he's like the last good leftist, frankly. Until I met Jimmy, I fucking was like, oh, the last good leftist is dead. Because he had principles. That's all, just principles.
Right.
If you say the thing that there's speeches, this and that, you stand by it, right? Like, anyway, he every time we went in, a different group of people that he helped with some horrific crime navigate would come to the shows, and I talked to them. It was wild, dude. It was like, honest to God, like that. And I'll never forget these two women that they were like middle aged. This is in 2015, probably, or 20. They're telling me their dad was the mayor of this town we were in at the time, and they had repressed memories. And I go, I thought that was debunked repressed memories. And they go, no, it's not. No. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to. Now, at the time, I thought it was. And I wasn't going to say, no, I think you're wrong, lady. But it stuck with me because she wasn't like, like, no, it's a thing. And then later I find out, and wouldn't you know it, in the BLM times is when they suddenly decided to come out and say, no, it's generational trauma is real. You can find the articles debunking the idea of generational trauma in 2011 by all your Sam Harris science types. Then when BLM came out, suddenly it's a thing again. Isn't that amazing?
Genetic memory, intergenerational genetic memory. Our genes
like the monarch, like the mighty monarch butterfly that can pass on trauma data that way, which we found out from the Nazis, et cetera, et cetera. That's all facts. It's not even a conspiracy. We brought that shit over here. This blew my mind, dude, because I'm obsessed with this MK Monarch thing because I can't believe it doesn't come up. While everybody's babbling about UFO, all the things, there's no way that Monarch doesn't figure into that the most. There's just no way that part of it is, and you don't see it.
Lay that out.
Talk around it, or they don't know about it.
How easy is it to rape somebody, traumatize them, and then convince them it was aliens and not the CIA and Jesuits that raped them and traumatized them? Why is it? How about this one? How about this one? You're laughing. How about this one? Look at guys like Charlie. Look at guys like Charlie Sheen and Tiger Woods, who have these insane meltdowns. That have these Tiger Woods especially. Tiger Woods gives all the symptoms of having been trained from a young age. What was it? Merv Griffin had him on at like 5 years old, and with his daddy, who was in the army, right? His daddy was in Korea in the army. Merv Griffin having this little 5-year-old little black boy. It's sort of amazing that you could just hit golf at 5 years old, showing all the signs, and then he has
Mozart stuff. Johnny, you know Mozart. His teacher when he was 4 was William Mesmer. Do you know that?
Oh,
I found that from Dark Jones. So,
wait a minute. What was Mesmer? But hang on. What was Mesmer's full name?
Well, I don't know. Mesmer the Great. I don't know. I just know that thing of training a child prodigy was real big, and then you realize how sinister it is because the generational trauma. You got that. If you ever saw Dune, John, this is what I was getting at because we got on too many tangents. You're talking about the Jesuit thing. The Bene Gesserits are the Jesuits. You know that, right?
Good Jesuits. They're good Jesuits.
Wait. You know Dune, or you see it, or
yeah.
So Frank Herbert is like an anti.
Catholic.
He anti. What's the other guy who made Lord of the Rings? That guy's Rosicrucian.
Yeah, John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, also an insider Catholic, as was Conan Doyle. If Arthur Ignatius.
Let me just get this out. So. Let me see. I forget what I'm going to say if I don't.
I'm sorry.
Order support.
I'm sorry.
This is my gavel, by the way.
You got Dune. You got the Jesuits. You got an anti-Jesuit Dune thing.
No.
With the good Jesuits.
You got to think of royalty. You got to look at it from royalty. So one, why do we have that? That's crazy. That's a thing in this day and age that exists anywhere. That's insane. Right. But everybody loves it. Even like poor people love it. Everybody's like a king and kings and a princess. You got Disney programming you to love Bavarian folk tales for your whole goddamn life. And what are royalty? They're people that are bred by a priest class. Going back to Egypt, Mark Windows, who I'm going to have on Windows on the World podcast. First video I saw his is so great. It's called Ancient Egyptian Crowd Control. And so the pharaohs, and they show you the whole dog and pony show. The pharaohs spent all their days. First of all, they're inbred like those Bape LA dogs that shouldn't exist. They're just inbred as shit. I know Akhenaten maybe was half a lizard man because his long head, but he was also inbred in a way you just don't see nowadays. You get a guy with big hips and a long head from inbreeding as well. Okay. And so what happened is they tied them up with nonsense. And mystery schools originate with this is the J.J. Abrams mystery box storytelling method from Lost or Scientology. Or I don't know, Nexium. I guess he didn't have that good of an ending for his thing either, right? You just have to suck his dick at 3 a.m. if he tells you. They all lead you down the primrose path, and then they love those stories that are all about that. There's Alice goes in the rabbit hole and blah blah blah, and then the Wizard of Oz. I didn't know this, but the Tower of Oz is what Sabotage Heavy's tower was called. When people go off to see the Wizard of Oz, and he would tell them it was inside you the whole time. It's some Gnostic shit. You know that?
The Wizard of Oz.
All of it is programming talk. Oh, look, if you write like I write TV programs, right? I'm a programmer.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, my friends have entertainment channels. They're mad because the slop has been changed to a thinner, worse gruel than the slop that we're supposed to be beloved of. You know, they ruined Star Wars. Like, I mean, well, puberty kind of did that for me mostly, but I understand. Growing some hair on my balls ruined it for me more and fucking pussy, but I get it. It's like a ruined thing. That's for people get emotional like that is programming that you get, I mean, out of the gate. And then you see how petty it. So a bunch of my friends have good living, like my buddy Gary, who I love that guy. And that guy has been through a lot, lost his business during COVID. And he had a comic book shop, which he made work out.
Gary Biegler, Neurotic Gary Biegler?
Yeah. And he's just a good dude, man. He came and so, yeah, dude, trash Star Wars forever. Get paid for it. I'm like, how dare you? I want that shit I want it all destroyed. I'm radical Islamic.
I can explain that to you when you're done. When you're done, I can explain.
I've converted to radical Islamism. No, I didn't. But there's a thing of a priest. You know, that's why we have the 4-class system: the priests and the kings, and the artisans and the peasants. And there's not really any change. Everybody could talk about whatever ism they think is going to work, but I have not seen one. There's nobody currently in America who's a candidate like Zomam Mamadami that they're all flipping out about in New York, who had AOC energy coming off him out of the gate. And friends of mine, like he was almost like a Trump to them of like, oh, this guy's talking about the issues New Yorkers care about. Right?
Is this the one whose mommy worked for Disney?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, she's a famous filmmaker. He's proudly a Nepo baby.
Yeah, and they're millionaires.
Yeah, he's a chosen one is what he is. Yeah. That kid's, I'll bet you he's a chosen one.
Straight out of Central Casting.
Yo, Scientology. Who's the guy in charge? Miscavige. My girlfriend pointed out to me, I didn't put this together, but when you watch young Miscavige, they said he was, because he grew up in it, he was a rising star of Scientology. And at the time, I didn't go, what? What in the shit does that mean? I was a Jehovah's Witness. I don't remember anybody being a rising star of church. That's a weird thing to say. So she goes, well, he's probably he got chosen. He's a chosen one. All these people, and this is what Nathan told me when I spoke to him, this is proprietary technology now. It's not just like the government did MK Ultra. All your big companies and you know half of the shit because it's Edward Bernays marketing. It's not science fiction. It's mundane. Like that's the most horrifying thing to get your head around is the shit you think is normal is a fucking high occult spell of some kind that a maniac came up with who studied psychology, and they have thousands of years of knowledge. The priest class is the class that studies the human mind for 30 years. Why do you think Ayn Rand, when she wrote that beautiful Atlas Shrugged about her boyfriend Jacob Rothschild, the guy who lives in Tomorrowland where Clooney lives, you know that's what that book's about, right? She dated Rothschild. And what happens? All the industrialists are disappearing and going to Tomorrowland without us. And they're sabotaging the railroads, East Palestine. They're burning down, Lahaina. Like, they're burning the restaurant down. They extracted the wealth, okay? And now they're burning it down. So you don't have to even get mystical to see what this scam is. It's all around you at all times. The Jesuit thing is, once you have people vying for power, of course you're going to have this nonstop. That's what's in Dune. That's what's in Game of Thrones. He puts a lot of this in those books and in the show because he based it on the Tudors, on the War of the Roses, and a bunch of stuff. Well, not just that. He based it on ancient Egyptian. I'm a writer, so I'm going to look into all this shit, and that's what a lot of these writers do, and it's in there. As soon as you know how to pick it out, you're like, oh. It's a repeating pattern, I would say, and that's why they say as above, below, as within, so that they think it's like the hologram shit you hear now.
It might be the other way around, though, Kurt. You know, it might be that the reason why the pattern is what it is, and why we like it as a written narrative is because it's the pattern that plays out in the human condition.
That's very naive, John. Come on.
Well, set a punchline is the basic structure of the universe. Set a punchline.
I'm the naive one here for sure. On
wait.
Stuff.
What does that mean?
No, I mean like, you know, the struggle with ego, the corrupting force of rising to the top of things, having power over others, and the way that fucks you up almost instantly.
Well, you notice
instantly fucks you up when you have power over others.
Like a confessional?
No, well, it cuts you up. I don't think it.
Actually, confession's pretty good. Confession's pretty good.
Is it?
Oh,
is it biblical?
It is, yeah.
Listen, I know Rogan personally for a long time, and
we can go. I'll be a poor apologist, but here's my apologetics for you, John. Is it biblical? The question I would ask is, well, where did the Bible come from? Because Christ didn't give us a Bible. He didn't say.
Oh no, he gave us a man, right?
Put it together and handed it to me.
He gave us. He put Peter in Rome, and then from there, all of the. Right, which is based on a misinterpretation of the Bible of Christ.
The main thrust of the Bible to me, and I'll sum it up because I don't like to get hung up on. I talked to Jay Dyer, who I love, that guy, very intelligent, and so Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jay Dyer, never heard of the Jesuits. Too bad as an Orthodox guy.
Okay, well they got their own thing, or else you wouldn't see all this stupid Tartarius shit going around. So there's something the Orthodox Church has too. We got a nice flat Earth from the Jesuits. Who you think's putting that out there? Every flat Earth cult, if you go back and look at them, going back to Zion, Michigan, in the 1800s, are Catholic cults, not Protestant, as I initially had thought. But I think it's to counter materialism. Like it's like a, like if you, a long time ago, I had Mike Cernovich on my old show, Race Wars with Shride, and he was a nice guy when I talked to him. He was like very volatile. This article he had written. And he's like, well, I'm balancing out. There's such a left-wing bias that I have to go this way super far to balance them out, which I didn't really like that line of reasoning, but it is a very commonly used, I'm sure game theory and all those other evil fucking things that you're supposed to, be blasé about are the same principle. Like I said, I just boil it down to, okay, what eggs are you going to break to make your omelet? And I'd like to know up front. I don't want it to be a surprise. I want you to tell me, and then I want you to stick to it. But all of them, just this last, just yesterday, they blew up a boat full of fucking 11 people they suspected were cartel, and JD Vance got you suspected?
There's not usually 11 people on. Every person could be pounds and pounds of drugs. So
you don't say definite. You can't say definite though. You blew them up without a trial. See, whatever they do to them, they're gonna do to you, and they do. By the way, all the things we do to the other people, like gangsters are gangsters. They're not like, I don't know if the moral of Sopranos was he was a really good family man, but it wasn't. They're pieces of shit. They're gangsters. So all the stuff that everyone consents to and excuses, okay, that's what I think Gio means by compromise. Is this compromising with something is wrong, but you're like, do you want to die on that hill of it's
like
wrong
putting soldiers in Washington D.C., Kurt?
What?
Like Trump putting soldiers in Washington D.C. to bring back order. So by the way, he Vance blew up 11 innocent people that were part of the cartel. This obviously wasn't part of the Sinaloa cartel, because the Sinaloa cartel, they're in bed with the United States government. That's
all the cartels we made. It's in Kathy O'Brien's book in the night. Here's what's amazing. When I first read and by the way, she's taken in, I guess Trump's got a secret plan. Let's be charitable and say Trump has a secret plan. He's getting the Satanists out from under there. Let's just say on a long shot that's what's happening, and you can just put your faith in that. Still, fuck you. What's with the secrets? Right. Why is there never a time where they tell you, okay, no more of this bullshit? And I texted John because you were talking to Brett Weinstein about and Brett's like, and all these people I know, and they're not like bad people. They're all like, hey, there's something is fishy. They're like,
Operation Trust.
Have you noticed something isn't right?
You heard of Operation Trust?
I'm in this group. I'm in this group of the quasi normies that are like, I do want to believe that there's been something like goodness in this world that has made some progress.
There is, but not from your government, which you would know is libertarian.
There are no white hats. Have you heard of Operation Trust, Kurt? It was a Soviet secret police operation right after the revolution in 1917, where they leaked out to the white Russians, the anti-communist Russians, that, hey, don't worry, go back to sleep. We really got it under control. the white hats are going to rein in all these red commies and go back to sleep. It's Operation. Look it
This
up.
goes back to like what is it? The Treaty on the Punic. John Taylor Gatto talks about it in his Against School, which is great.
I love it.
But he talks about that. I can't remember whose treaty on the Punic Wars, but it was about dividing and conquering the people with stupid identity bullshit.
Right.
And how do you get them? You get them with their designs and logos or sigils. That's all this black magic. That's why Finkelstein calls it black magic. The intel, it is John D.
It's the blue eyes, brown eyes experiment. Remember that? I mean, this
Yeah,
is like
there's
the
even
most
something fake about
replicated
that too, by
social
the way.
science you can do. You take a group of kids, you say, okay, you give them a completely arbitrary marker. All right, half of you split over here now, and then you tell them a story that, okay, you guys on this half of I put you over here because you're actually better. I looked into your backgrounds. You're the better class. You're
the chosen eyes. I know how Zionism works.
Yeah.
We get it.
And then,
and
then you flip.
So wait, so
and then you flip
I
it the
remember
next
this.
day.
Remember the Stanford marshmallow experiment? That's my favorite one. The Stanford marshmallow experiment, where the kids they go, "Don't eat the marshmallows yet," and if you delay gratification, they had better outcomes because they were probably correlated to higher IQs. Nah, it was a submissiveness test. So let's say I'm a little kid that already, because I live around tech degenerates, so who knows what they've done to me already. And I know not to trust the adults. Maybe I'll just eat my marshmallow now because I know you're a liar already at a tragically young age. That was a test to see who submits the most. Guess who won the test? Susan Wojcicki from YouTube was the Charlie of the Wonka factory of that test. And that's how you know she took the real vaccine.
You're talking about mask wearing?
What?
Mask wearing, it's a synonym for a metaphor for you can just easily insert mask wearing of the humiliation nappy.
Oh, the Facebook.
Who is it that wears the mask the most? I mean, there are people out today out walking in the fresh air still wearing a mask. So it's who is the most.
The airport. Right.
Yeah, Taylor Lorenz. Are we talking about Taylor Lorenz now?
Even she is taking off her face yarmulke in protest of Gaza. Greta Thunberg, yeah. No, that the greatest was her versus the Libs at TikTok chick. I wanted them to go on a road trip together after I watched this interview because
that was like another. We went into like another dimension when that.
It's happened 20 times over. Where this is the the bad one in Star Trek, the mirror one for sure. But the funniest part is they're sitting there talking shit. So Libs at TikTok is saying they don't want to. My kids shouldn't learn about gay sex. And she goes, and then I love this. This is in Tragedy and Hope, the book, Rule by Experts. That was their plan, and you're hearing it now. And she goes, "Well, are you an expert? Like for my kids, I would need an expert to tell me shit, right?" And then she goes, "But are you an expert?" And then the girl, she just sticks her phone in her face and goes, "That's a blowjob." It was one of the funniest I clipped it and posted it because it was hysterical. And how you see a reality show of them like Paris and Nicole or something. But
that's a debate fallacy. From research, you need expert.
Will get you out of trouble when your point don't go nowhere. Because I'm pretty relentless on people. I mean, I'm no Johnny Cirucci, I'll tell you that. But I'm relentless because I want to see if you don't know better or if you're a liar, and I'll just hammer someone until I just want to see what they do. So most of the time, it ends. I just want to keep my head down and do my job. I'm like, okay, just say it out loud like a cow, and I won't bother you. But other people will stick to their bullshit, and sometimes I'll get a weird. I don't know what to make of this. I saw in the last episode, the Black Rifle Coffee dude. I blurted out Monarch, and the second I met him, what do you know about MK Monarch? Some people go, "Oh, that's crazy. What are you talking about?" He just no expression, and he just plopped down next to me, and I just went on and on about it for a long time to him while he sat silently, and I couldn't read anything about him. It was the most bizarre. That guy's seen combat in Afghanistan as a Green Beret and also a CIA guy, so I'm sure whatever he's been around ain't been good. I'm glad he's in the coffee business now, but I found that very interesting to see. I just want to see how people react and blurt a true thing in their face. Because Monarch, the NSA disclosed in 2024. I didn't even know that we had a guest on Jimmy's show. I'll send you the link if you want. I might have already sent it to you. They say Monarch by name. They don't. I was like, wait, they say Monarch? Yeah, it's disclosed.
It's the Godzilla movies now.
dude. So
as is the Bohemian Grove allies, as are the Bohemian Grove allies. It's right there in the Disney Godzilla movies.
I like the
In your
Charles
face.
butterfly.
And it's not flat Earth. It's hollow
It's
Earth.
not what?
It's hollow Earth now. It's not flat Earth in the Godzilla movies. It's hollow Earth.
Well, they're doing, you know, you see like the sci-fi. I've never bought into the shit. Like, let's just assume it's there's aliens and not angels and demons or whatever. I don't care what you call them, but the idea that the public couldn't handle it. You know, one, they don't want to panic the public. First of all, since when do they not want to panic the public? State of panic all day and night was what I remember from my entire life here, especially since 9/11. We had like a panic alarm for how terroristy it is outside, right? And
I continue to believe that the late 90s was the peak of Western civilization.
Yeah, but even then, Charlie Sheen was busting out Crisco on a young Corey Haim. Even at that peak. Even at that high watermark, you know. There was
Why do you have to ruin everything, Kurt? Why can't you let me have the era of Friends?
This is why I have
my
a quote
high
show.
school time?
And DeRosa, I'm going to try him for I'm going to try his childhood because he always wants me not messing with his beloved memories of Raiders of the Lost Ark and that kind of shit. And that's what it is. This is what I'm talking about programming. There's a thing where people. So my mother went from being a disillusioned Catholic to Jehovah's Witness, and I have to say she was a very Catholic Jehovah's Witness. Okay, in terms of guilt and corporal punishments, but there's a thing where like there's a whole. I don't know if it's generational right now because it is clown world, aka CIA world. Because it is clown world, that's what they say. Not in I call it mind control, but just marketing terms. Is people are in that fluid state where your calcified feelings are broken up because you got to make sense of what in the fuck you're looking at all the time. So that's where all these kind of groups, not just Jesuits, it's not one group. Anybody that you follow the power and money hierarchy, okay? The reason they love pyramids, I think. But what happened?
I'm not sure. Although I will say I'm gonna have to bounce now. I've got.
Oh yeah, you did have
2
to.
o'clock.
All right, John, thanks for coming on, man. Good talking.
Appreciate you.
Very interesting NXIVM story from John Papula. Yeah, I'm working on a show with him. They got like a real TV budget shit called a Cutout, and it's like The Office, but about a cutout doing dirty political tricks.
And he's that much of a free thinker. Good for you. I'm surprised he's got any pull at all.
You know, well, I mean, you know, the Cutout. I haven't tested all the boundaries about making a comedy show. Like if I was doing the news or something, you know, like Jimmy's show, he's gonna what?
We might need to reboot. Everybody in the chat is saying the audio is jacked up right now, and
okay, we gotta leave. Come back.
Yeah, let me